So, what is there for us for today, in the second day of this conference? Definitely the business program, no less engaging than yesterday. We'll have discussions on technological trends, emerging markets, the transformation of business models, and integration of breakthrough technologies into the business practice. Two offline stages, the Earth and the Sun, and also two virtual stages in the Moon and Venus lounges, and Startup Bazaar, where you can meet the technological operators and difficult startups. And also we have a large stands of startups. Today we have this exhibition organized in two formats, offline in Skolkovo and online on the website of the conference. Then networking. Yes, indeed, you're still in time to get a meeting with any investor, speaker or startup or a representative of a corporation in your personal account on the website. And also we'll have mentor hours within which the startups can present themselves to professional mentors, get the feedback how to get their business idea to the new level. Also the startup pitches in front of the investors and many more. Please do not hesitate to follow what you're interested in. And today we'll talk about Asia. Asia is a new America for startups. Tax preferences, investment climate, the population density and paying capacity of consumers attract both new and experienced exporters. But it's very difficult to access that market if one just gets there solely and without any guidance. How to avoid some typical mistakes and errors. We'll discuss it with our experts. And now I'd like to give the floor to our moderator, the Director of the Board of Skolkovo Ventures, Pekka Vinyakin.
And of course, good evening, good afternoon, all the friends and colleagues in Asia. We have a wonderful morning here. And we have a second day starting right now of our Startup Village. It's the 9th year when we are doing Startup Village, and all of those who have been here for at the beginning, or even 5 years, they know that a lot has happened in the startup ecosystem. A lot has happened. I remember the first discussions like this 9 years ago when even the public media was asking, like, Mr. Viljakainen, what is startup? Or is this some kind of youth program? Or is this some... So this is a kind of a big learning curve. One extremely important part of the journey in whole Skolkovo ecosystem and the whole Skolkovo project is to make us globally connected. And in that journey, we are launching a Skolkovo Global Camp Accelerator program. And of course, when we say global, global means all the countries. But today, in this particular session, we are focusing on Asia. And I'm extremely happy to have with me this morning, online and offline, colleagues from the megapolis and the centers of the Asia, and the colleagues answering to the questions how to overcome the difficulties or potential barriers for startups to operate in Asia, to make business deals and so forth. But I think without further ado, we can start, because we don't need to explain why Asia is the hottest technology spot in the world. We don't need to repeat that. But I think that we are very eager, and both online and offline viewers are very eager to know what are your practical ideas and comments and help what you can give to the startups listening this presentation today. So today we will have Mr. Gil-Hwan Shu from Republic of Korea. We have James Tan online directly from Singapore. We have Barry Song from Hong Kong. And from Japan, we have Tetsuya Yumetsu. Sorry for pronunciation. I can tell you that Pekka Viljakainen is also very difficult. So compared to that, we are Japanese colleagues, we are in the same boat. But let's start from the Korea. Of course, there has been already quite a lot of cooperation between Korea and Russia in the past years, but it's mainly happened between the big corporations. Korea has been delivering Russia technology. We all know many Russian companies working there, delivering energy components and all that kind of stuff, commodities. But what is the Russian technology scene? How does it look like from the Korean standpoint? I mean, what are the support measures, what we could expect for the Russian startups who want to operate together with the Korean colleagues?
First of all, thank you, Pekka. I'm very happy to be here, and it's very good to be back at Startup Village, and it's wonderful to be here. Let me answer your question with regards to what we already have right now. We have already a joint Korea-Russia innovation platform, which was established several years ago after the leaders of our two countries met and signed an agreement. And so based on that, we try to help startups and tech companies from both countries to come together. And it will be good to see as many Russian startups and companies go to Korea as many as Korean companies are coming to Russia. Last year, during the years since 2019, we have brought 15 startup and tech companies from Korea with the help of the Skokovo soft landing program. So we would like to see something like that as well.
How this, if you think about the first experiences, can you give some kind of a quick advice? What could be done better for just a short comment on, I mean, what was your impression about those actions taken already?
Well, the actions are good from our side. We have an instrument called the Joint Innovation Platform, but if from the Russian side we could see more go to Korea, that would be wonderful, because we have a very good program in Korea for startups, not only for Russian, but worldwide startups who have very good products and services. So I can talk about that a little later as well.
Okay, very good. Okay, let's jump to to Singapore. So James, I think that there are a lot of already Russian entrepreneurs and technology people living in Singapore. When I'm watching their Facebook or Instagram, it looks like that there is a true Russian hub already built in Singapore, and Singaporeans have historically been very welcoming colleagues joining to Singapore from all over the world. But I think my question is that what's the right strategy if you want to come to Singapore, and then also how to avoid mistakes, potential mistakes, because of course we can have a certain stereotypias about the cultures and cultural differences, but what we have learned so far from the Singaporean standpoint, please.
Okay, very good day. I'm James Tan, Managing Partner at Quest Ventures. Let me first start by saying that I'm envious of the physical gathering that the Startup Village has put together, but nonetheless delighted that people like Barry and I can participate virtually. So as moderator and chairman Pekka Vilakan has said earlier, Asia is the new America, and Singapore is very fortunate to be at the hub of the action, and we are very rightfully the startup hub for Southeast Asia. To say that we are the startup hub for Asia itself will be challenging given the rest of the panelists that we have today, because Seoul is also very vibrant, so is Hong Kong, so is Beijing, and so on. But in Southeast Asia itself, as disparate the region is, Singapore has carved out a very good niche as the center for not just technology development, but also for venture capital. So in terms of risk capital, we have anchored ourselves there, and then in terms of technology. There are many pitfalls, of course, because this region is so big. And the chairman has also brought out the fact that there are many Russians in Singapore. I did a quick search. There are about 4,500 Russians in Singapore, and I can guarantee you that they are probably having a very good time here, enjoying the technical support and the talent support and the financial support that the ecosystem has brought to them. But people who are here, Russians and Americans and anyone alike, are not here for the market of Singapore because we are small. They are here for Singapore as a launch pad to go to the entire Southeast Asia. All 600 million of them, with an economy that is the 7th largest in the world, and with individual economies that are rightfully the fastest growing in the world, for example, Vietnam and Indonesia themselves. But there are just so many things I can talk about Southeast Asia. I'll pass the time back to Chairman.
Yeah. May I make an additional extra question for you? Because, you know, I was born and raised also in a small country, I mean, big country from the size-wise, but small in Finland. And we have a lot of high-tech in Finland, but we have a massively big trouble of a lack of talent because technology sector has been growing so fast. And every company needs not 1, 10, but perhaps 100,000 people. And I'm a regular Singapore visitor, so to say, and I know all the good things. But how you are solving the lack of talent? Because eventually it will be a bottleneck. Because if you are growing like with this kind of speed, I do know that you do something in the universities and so forth. But is there some special trick on it?
Chairman, I think the talent problem is very real. Not only do startups need talent, we also have been able to attract many conglomerates, MNCs, whether you name it, the new ones like ByteDance and the older ones like Google, all have their regional headquarters for the region here. And so they are also hiring technical talent. It's a good evolution because in the past, these MNCs will come here and use it as a regional headquarters, but mostly for sales. But now, and in the last few years, we see that increasingly a lot of technical development is happening here. A lot of data centers, for example, are here, and therefore technical talent and so on are hired here. So the competition for talent is very real. And with or without COVID, we already are welcoming a lot of foreign talent come in and be a part of our ecosystem, whether they are joining Google or whether they are joining a startup. So in the past, when physical travel was possible, we had schemes that encourage these companies to take on talent. Of course, they must be of a certain category due to their experience or their degrees and so on. So we know that when they come here, they are able to contribute very effectively due to the backgrounds that they have. And today, with COVID around, then all the more it's easier for anybody, small market, big market, to access talent around the world.
Yes. Okay, let's make a quick jump then from the Moscow standpoint, same direction to Hong Kong. Mr. Barry Zhang, you are managing a big technopark, and of course you are seeing the technopark and the companies in Hong Kong. How does the technology landscape and what technologies or areas are right now booming in Hong Kong? I have been, I think first time in Hong Kong I was 26 years ago. And I was at that time analyzing the Hong Kong market, and every year I have been visiting. So I guess quite a lot has happened there. But what's the hottest topic right now?
One of the hottest topic is smart city, because Hong Kong, as you know, that is a huge urbanization. So that is the reason we want to have smart city technology to see how we manage the place more efficiently, and so to improve the overall quality of life for our citizens and residents. So that is really what will be the focus for the next 5 to 10 years. But of course, smart city is a really big topic. So we actually want to focus more on the things that related to the buildings. As you can see, Hong Kong, same as Singapore and Seoul, we actually have a huge urban population. So how to make the building smarter and the residents inside the building more enjoyable to the surroundings, that is one thing. And also green tech. Because energy consumption is something that haunts the city. We are a small city. We don't have unlimited resources like Russia. So we want to use every bit of energy as efficient as possible. Last but not least, healthy aging. Hong Kong has an aging population. With that said, that means we need to actually have a technology that could give our residents some convenience when they becomes, a little bit like slower in the movement. Last but not least, smart mobility, ICT, are the next two hottest topics in Hong Kong.
I must say, sir, that it's very good to hear that you're mentioning this, the standard of living or all everything related to that, because I have got the feeling when I was in Hong Kong 2 years ago that everybody was only talking fintech, Bitcoin, and all that kind of a financial transaction. But it seems that the whole world is seeing actually the movement that there will be life after the Bitcoin and the financial transaction, that you cannot eat the financial transaction. It doesn't make you healthier if you have a lot of Bitcoins in your account, if everything else goes wrong. So it seems that it's the same in Hong Kong also. Yeah.
Exactly. So we also realize the limitations with solely fintech.
Yeah. May I ask from the support mechanisms, because anyway, many of the viewers are thinking about how to make cooperation in Asia. How in Hong Kong, we don't talk in these seminars about the politics and so forth, but does these politics or changes or news what we have seen related to Hong Kong and mainland China, does this affect it in any way to the support mechanisms, for example, for the startups going to the Hong Kong?
Well, I think on the contrary, like the support actually being strengthened, because after all the fuss made during the past year, we also know that we need business. So as a result, we strengthen our support in terms of talent, in terms of business connection, and also like the ecosystem, because Hong Kong, we are very unique because because of the proximity to mainland China. So we actually strengthen the support so that to woo the business back to Hong Kong. And of course, finance is one of the forte of Hong Kong. So we are actually making the capitalization easier to Hong Kong so that people can come here to start their business. So yeah, I think things are getting better in terms of business.
Excellent, excellent to hear. Okay, then once again, moving to the same direction, to Japan. Tetsuya, I must say that I have a special relation to Japan because only 2 nights ago I was spending a night talking with the Japanese colleagues in Hokkaido Island about how to get Finnish high-tech on growing fish to the Japanese territory. I mean, this kind of environmental friendly fish production, large scale. And I must tell you that it was very interesting because I was a year and a half ago in Tokyo. And at that time, people were saying that, well, for example, in this environmental area, Japanese are not so interested about it, that of course you are using a lot of fish and so forth. But now, only a year and a half after, they said that, for example, the environmental elements and all the technologies, what are in agrotech, are very fastly growing. And we all know that 18 months in a life is not a long time, but this has all happened in 18 months. So my question is that, well, I have a formal question also, how to get to the Japanese market. But also, do you see that there is in the society or in Japan something fundamentals happening?
I'd like to say thank you to invite me to today's session, to the Skolkovo and the moderator, Yuka. And as for your question, the social Japan is there are so many social tasks in Japan, not only environmental field. As our colleague in Hong Kong told, there are aging society, there are there are so many social tasks in Japan too, so that we have to find appropriate technologies and solution from other countries, including Russia, so that are very important at this moment in Japan.
How do you think now then concretely, if there is certain in these areas which are kind of focused in Japan, valid technologies, here in Russia, in the Russian startup, watching this program, what are the steps to enter to the Japanese market? Because I can tell you as a European, and I have been doing business with Japanese about 15 years in my life, that of course there are truly cultural differences, and the market is very strongly dominated by the old trade families and these kind of conglomerates, and it's quite difficult to enter it. How do you feel it? I mean, what should be done for startups to come to the market?
Yeah, the important thing is to know what is the market and what needs are existing in that market. There is such kind of proverb in Japan or other countries in East Asia. If you know enemy and you yourself, you need not fear to the result of all battles.
Yeah.
So Russian startups, you should know what there is in the Japanese market. So what should know? What you should know? You should know why Japanese companies want to collaborate with Russian startups. Japanese companies are seeking the unique or innovative technologies and solutions which contribute to solve the social problems in Japan, or to find out a solution by Japanese companies for those tasks by the collaboration with foreign startups. So many of Japanese companies are not venture capitals, which earn the profit from their investment. But to create and produce together, this is the gene of Japanese companies. So that Russian startups should find such kind of genes of Japanese companies to feel that kind of genes.
Yeah.
So in this sense, JETRO could be a connecting bridge between Japanese companies and Russian startups.
Yeah. Actually, Mike, my next question is all of you, because in certain markets, there is a clear condition from the government or local governments that to enter, let's say, to the mainland China in certain area, you have to have like a 50% partner from the local partner, and then you can get going. I guess in South Korea, Japan, you don't have this kind of requirements, or how it is in South Korea, for example?
No, actually, we don't have such requirements. But to add to what I was trying to say about startups moving from or going to Russia, entering the Korean market, we have a very good program in Korea called the K-Startup Grand Challenge. If you could bring up the slide, please. It's a good program, and any startup that is around the world can come, and it will be funded by the Korean government. And this year, we're looking for 60 startups. So, and you get a 3.5-month acceleration period with some settlement fees and business opportunities to meet with and connect with Korean conglomerate companies. And it's a good opportunity. So the deadline for application is June 15. So please...
So quite soon.
Yeah, it's very soon. But please, if you go to the... there's more information on the website. This was actually presented last year at Open Innovation Forum by my colleague from NIPA. But this is funded by the Korean Ministry of SMEs and Startups, and anyone can apply. So please log on to www.kstartupgc.org and please find information there. And there's various means of support there. And like I said, you get office space and settlement fees as well. So if you have good technology and products or services, please come, and there's no restrictions to applying.
May I jump to Hong Kong, asking actually my original question also, this kind of a startup. So is it kind of a mandatory to while being in Hong Kong to have a kind of a local partner or shareholder, or can you do it kind of standalone still?
You can do a standalone. Hong Kong is very special, as the namesake says, special administration region. So we do things very differently from mainland China. So that is one of the reasons we say that is the go-to place for all the startups. We don't have those restrictions in China. On the contrary, we are actually is one of the most accessible place for startups among the other great mega cities in the world. So yeah, all the startups are welcome. And as a matter of fact, Hong Kong Science Park, we do have a program, actually many programs to attract foreign startups to come here to visit. And then as the same as the K Startup Challenge is to see how Hong Kong fits your ambition. We can actually bring you to mainland China because that is the big market, but I know you have some concerns over there. So that's the reason you set up your headquarters here. And then while exploring the mainland China market, that is the best combination of doing business.
I will not make the same question to our friend in Singapore because I know the Singapore relatively well by myself and you have a very liberal, in a sense, the policy. But I have a special question for Singapore because if you are a technology startup and you are thinking about the next growth step, global growth step, the life is much, much easier if you are backed up by, let's say, smart money. So not only an investor, but also like venture funds or organization who is investing perhaps a little bit of money, but even more time to help. So how it is in Singapore when you are watching the VC market or all the venture market, that is there like a specialized or some financial institutions which are specializing to get, let's say, Russian startups to come to the market who should be contacted, or is it just like any just to work with?
Okay, so I thank you for the special question. I think there are two parts here. One is on risk capital, on how are there any special risk capital for Russian or any particular region in particular? No, there isn't. I think we are all the risk capital that's available here, all 150 plus of them, VCs, angel associations, angel networks, and so on, are all opportunity driven. Of course, in our mandate, we want to also invest in maybe just a lot in Southeast Asia, a lot in North Asia, and so on, but a lot of us are just opportunity driven. For example, for us in Quest itself, in the last 1 year or so, we have invested in 21 Central Asian companies just because the opportunity is there. So we also welcome any venture capital firms or angel networks and so on from Russia and from Central Asia itself to come here to Singapore to set up shop to tap into the opportunities here. At the minimum, you get exposed to the opportunities that Southeast Asia offers. You are also a very good sounding board and a soft landing pad from whenever your home, your countrymen from Russia and so on come over to Singapore, and you provide a very good advice for them.
Yeah. Okay, we have a few minutes left of our broadcasting time this morning or this afternoon. I make one round of 60-second questions. Let's take from South Korea. How do we, same question for all, what should be done that we get our startup community here in Russia, meaning Skolkovo, we have 150,000 people on it, connected better with the Korean similar communities? Because we cannot travel, not move 150,000 people, but we should exchange faster. So very quick answers.
So this is one of the reasons we are here as Chorus Tech, and we are the forefront of the joint innovation platform we discussed about. We have development institutes in Korea that we connect with, and you should contact us, and we will try to connect you with our development institutes and other areas and programs as well.
How about Japan?
We have many connections in Japanese startup societies, so that if you want to establish some kind of connection with Japan, please talk to Jetro first.
Okay, very good. And then Hong Kong?
Well, same as Japan, so we are this one-stop shop for all the connections you want to make in Hong Kong and also in China. So this is the place for business.
That was very clear.
And you're welcome to contact me for any questions.
And I guess Singapore, same story, is because there is a very vibrant and also a lot of startup events happening in Singapore.
Yeah, they are welcome to contact Quest Ventures or myself. There are also 4,500 of our fellow Russians that you can contact here, that we know many of them. So yeah, contact us anytime that you're interested in this region.
Okay. One last thing, I have got the one question from the audience actually to my email here. Is it possible for foreign students, or is it easy these days because there is easiness and everything is of course possible to become as a student for the universities, local students, which for the universities in your country, which would kind of open not only the startup but also the market there. Is your country kind of a welcome for this kind of a cooperation? Let's start from the Korea.
Yes, we are very welcome to talented students all around the world. And our second language in Korea is English.
Yes.
So it's very easy to come and study, and we promote that very much as well.
How about in Japan? Is there university language, is it Japanese or is there kind of multilingual?
Mainly Japanese, but second language is English, I think.
Yeah.
So, and there is so many human exchange between Russia and Japan, including students, so that such kind of the exchange in this field will be developed.
Okay. And Hong Kong, I don't ask about the language, but how about the easiness to get to the country, for example, studying standpoint?
Well, it's very easy. I know there's a direct flight from Moscow to Hong Kong every week. Before the COVID, I assume it will be the same after the COVID. And we have a lot of Russian population in Hong Kong, especially in academics. So yes, yeah, welcome to join here. We have a world-class facilities of R&D and also faculty members.
Yeah, and I guess same in Singapore also.
Yeah, some of the courses have already turned online. We welcome students from around the world.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think that the summary is that all our 4 Asian partners are very ready for the cooperation. It's actually up to us as a Russian startup community how we make the mutual win-win situation and business together. And I think that this is a remarkable change in many ways because it's not only that we are going somewhere, but there is a real need of innovations and ideas. And this collaboration, this is nothing to do with politics, this is nothing to do with this kind of friendship, this is pure business, which is good, really, really good. And actually, I must say that I'm coming from the very cold Finland. We have 37 daily flights all over the Asia from Helsinki to our location. And that's why for us and for Moscow over here, all the connections are very open. So with these words, I just want to thank you, all the participants. Sorry for bothering you, colleagues in Hong Kong and Singapore, late afternoon there. I want to tell you that in Moscow we have a perfect weather. We have a great day starting here. All the flowers are blooming. Life is beautiful. No trouble, just opportunities. So next year we will have a 10th anniversary of Startup Village. You have to come physically here. So we will have a hell of a party next year here. So you are warmly welcome. So with these words, I want to thank you, all the participants and all the viewers here in Moscow, but whole Russia, but also all over the world. And I wish you all a fruitful day and the great sessions on behalf of myself, the organizers of Startup Village, and the whole Skolkovo ecosystem. So thank you very much. Спасибо большое.
При низких температурах окружающей среды тела быстро теряют энергию. Но нахождение вблизи источника тепла позволяет телу получать тепловое излучение. Происходит самопроизвольное перераспределение тепла. Следовательно, когда источники тепла находятся вместе, их энергия побеждает холод. Лучшее создается вместе. Газпромбанк.
МТС Стартап Хаб. Работа с реальным бизнес-заказчиком МТС. Доступ к ресурсам самого крупного телеком-бренда в России. Не можешь поверить? А в твой стартап обязательно поверят. У нас есть все, что тебе понадобится. Ресурсы, клиенты, технологии, каналы продаж. Мы оценим твой продукт, правильно применим в своем бизнесе и масштабируем на мировой рынок. МТС Стартап Хаб ждет тебя и твоих нереальных бизнес-идей.